What's up, jazz guitar friends? Larry Tamanini here, Jazz Guitar Under 5 Minutes. Hey, you just heard me playing through a very quick version of Days and Wine and Roses. And you know that's one of my favorite songs, but I'm here today to talk about intros and endings. You know, often the unwritten part of the song and the hardest part to play, right? Because you sort of have to have some idea of how to state a melody, and you have to understand how time feel works and all that stuff. And when somebody in the band gives you the nod to say like, hey, play something up front, you should really have a few things ready to go. And if you're leading your own gigs, you're playing with good players, they're going to be looking to you to end songs. So check it out. Let's talk about those intros and endings, man. So intros are a little bit more forgiving because you kind of have the element of starting out, right? And you can be a little bit softer. Here, I chose a little common tone idea. It's really just a 3-6-2-5 if we're in the key of F, right? But I have this, C to F up on top here, and then it goes to a B to F because I'm playing this sort of A flat minor, G minor. And then once I get to this part of the chord, I can play this kind of 5, a sharp 5. I could play something really nice too. I could play. Or, in this case, if I had to go into a pickup. Right. Oops. You get the idea, right? So that's pretty much what I'm going for. And you can play around with that. If it's a solo gig and you have to play a long time, hey man, run it around a few times. Move it up too. And then, at this point you're getting to back cycling, which is pretty hip too. So you get the idea, right? So that's a really cool intro idea. And let's talk about the outro that I played. This was something that I stole off many Miles Davis or Red Garland. A very abrupt ending, right? Because let's just say maybe you played a 10-minute intro, so you're really just trying to get out of the song at this point. So you're like, all right, let's run this one. So what's happening here is if I'm in the key of F, I'm going to just surf down on this, in this case a D flat minor. And I'm really trying to get this is almost like my end kind of pickup. And then the first triplet is C, B, B flat, A flat, G. Same premise as the intro, right? I can do a lot of different things once I get to that last chord. That's really the toughest part of when you want to make a decision. It's almost like, when you're running the option. Do you want to keep it for a little bit longer, or do you just want to pitch it and create all that tension? So let's try a couple different versions going out. Okay, that's not too bad. Same kind of deal. Same thing, and I played right. That's not too bad. Let's try another one. Maybe not so much, right? That's just a regular dominant chord. So this is the fun part when you can sort of get into the lab and see what you prefer. Ultimately, I'm probably going to do this. I like the G flat. And then anytime I can get that in there, an open string, I love that chord. Root third, root fifth third, and then there's that kind of Led Zeppelin vibe. Right? Get that echo in there, really wait for a while, okay? Really get your money's worth out of that outro. So check it out. Here's your intro. Common tone on top from like a 3-6-2-5. Chromatic going down. However you want to do it, right? And then your outro is pretty much that minor voicing from your flat 6 in this case, right? Oops. However you want to get to that last chord, right? Intros, endings, really important to get in your bag, and a really cool chance to show off what you prefer musically, right? Again, so many of these songs are already written down. So this is your chance to kind of put your stamp on it. You know, and just think of it like this. Intros and endings are just like flying in a plane. You don't want to have any problems taking off, right? You don't want to have any problems in the beginning. You don't want to really don't want to have any problems landing. So when you're ending the song, you really want to be decisive. You can have some problems in the air, right? Because you can work it out. So as long as the intros are cool and the endings are cool, you can really fix what's, the problems that are happening in the song much easier once you get those in your bag. All right, jazz guitar friends, if you made it this far, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Summer's coming around, lesson spots are available, and summer's the best time to level up on guitar. I'll be practicing a lot more, so I'm definitely going to be around. All right, see you later. Bebop!